Are you having problems with your garage door not opening or closing properly? I recently had my garage door start doing this. Now it will go about halfway up and then it stops and doesn't open all the way. It doesn't do it every time. It's doing it intermittently, maybe 1 out of every 4 or 5 times. I'm going to show you the troubleshooting steps that I took to resolve this issue on my garage door. Let's get into it. So the first thing you want to check are your sensors. Now on each side of your garage door you have a photoelectric eye. They're in alignment with one another, and if they see an obstruction between the two of them, they can impact the proper operation of your garage door. Now there could be a couple of things going on with those. The first could be something blocking it or an obstruction. The second could be the eyes aren't properly aligned. It's pretty common for your garage door to flash if there is an obstruction. Now my particular door, even if there is an obstruction, it'll go up, it won't come back down. The next thing you want to check is you want to make sure there's no debris or obstructions in your track. So I find that, you lubricate these tracks, years of dust and grime build up in the garage, that turns into a gummy-like substance, and sometimes the track just needs to be cleaned out and re-lubricated. In this case, I'm using a standard household cleaner. This is Formula 409 degreaser. I'll spray this in the track, I'll wipe it out, get the track really good and clean. Once the track's clean, I'll use this spray-on garage cleaner. Lubricate the entire track, lubricate the rollers again. I'll even lubricate the drive shaft. This will make sure that the track is clean and properly lubricated for the best operation of the garage door. Another thing you want to do is you want to check the track itself for damage or misalignment. One way you can check for good alignment is to take a level and place that across the bottom of the track. This will show you if the track is straight and aligned. If your track is bent or damaged in any way, you're going to need to get that fixed. If that's something you can do yourself, great. Otherwise, you may want to call a professional to help with that job. The next thing you want to try is pulling the release handle on the garage door to disconnect it from the garage door opener motor, and pulling the door up and down manually to see if you're seeing any binding or restriction in the door. Now there will be a point where the door feels a little bit heavier. That's normal, but you're really looking for something. Is it stopping? Is it blocking me? Is there a reason that my motor isn't lifting the door all the way based on an obstruction? If you are seeing that obstruction, take the time, look at the track, check your rollers. That's probably your problem, and that's something that needs to be addressed. So if your door isn't binding and it's moving freely, your problem may be related to either low spring tension or the lift setting not being high enough on the opener itself. Now, if your spring tension isn't high enough, then the door will be too heavy, and that could be what's stopping the lift. I consider adjusting the spring tension on a garage door to be more of an advanced user type thing. It is dangerous. That spring is under load, and when you release that nut, all that pressure is going to come off. So if you're not comfortable doing that, you might want to consult a professional. Now, if everything else looks fine, your sensors are free and clear, there's no obstructions in the track, your spring looks good, the problem actually may be with the garage door opener lift force setting. Now, there is a setting on there that tells the garage door opener to pull a little bit harder when you move it up or push a little bit harder when you move the garage door down. Now, you don't want that setting any higher than it has to be, because that setting is actually a safety feature. If something does obstruct the garage door and you have a high setting, the garage door opener will pull it anyway, and you could cause damage to the system. So I recommend if you do adjust your lift force tension, you do so in little increments and you only adjust it as much as you need to. Now that adjustment is typically found on the garage door opener, so mine's right here. It's just a little threaded screw. You turn that, so you can turn that just a little bit to add a little bit more force to the way that the garage door opens. Now if none of these steps resolve your issue, you may have a failing or otherwise malfunctioning garage door opener. It may be time to replace it or call a professional for additional help. So in conclusion, there's a few steps you can take to resolve a garage door opener that isn't opening properly. First, make sure there's no obstructions in those sensors. Second, make sure your track is clean and debris free. You may need to add some additional lubricant there. Third, make sure there's no damage to the track or alignment issues with the track. Next, make sure that the door can slide up and down freely. And finally, you may need to adjust that lift tension. Hey, thanks for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give me a like. Think about subscribing to the channel. Finally, to all my brothers and sisters serving in harm's way around the world, you're always in my thoughts. Be safe out there.